Welcome to the first episode of the Rich Auntie Podcast. There will never be another first. You are listening to it right now. I'm your host, Kia Valentine, and I'm super excited to dive into today's episode because this is where I'm going to lay the foundation of what's to come. I will cover the purpose and goals of this podcast. I'm going to share a little bit about myself and my background. I'm going to highlight what makes the Rich Auntie Podcast unique and why you should listen, subscribe, and share. And I'm also going to share some expectations for the future. This will be in no particular order. Let's begin. The Rich Auntie Podcast has 3 pillars: wealth building, entrepreneurship, and lifestyle. I've been passionate about wealth building for many years. My journey started with the desire to understand how money works and how I can make it work for me instead of the other way around. Through extensive research and personal experience, I discovered the power of financial strategies like the infinite banking concept, which I now teach as a part of my lifestyle banking course. My focus is to create long-term sustainable wealth that allows you to create the life that you want to live without having to constantly worry about money. I've seen firsthand how financial literacy can transform lives, and I'm committed to sharing that knowledge with my audience. Entrepreneurship has been a significant part of my life. As a serial entrepreneur, I have started and grown several businesses across different industries. The journey has not always been easy, but it has taught me invaluable lessons about resilience, innovation, and the importance of taking calculated risk. I believe that entrepreneurship is one of the most powerful ways to create wealth and to create a life of freedom and fulfillment. So on this podcast, I look forward to sharing the insights that I've gained from my own entrepreneurial journeys, the challenges, and the triumphs to help you navigate your own entrepreneurial path. Beyond wealth and business, I'm a firm believer in living a rich and fulfilling life. For me, that means embracing experiences that align with my values and passions, like traveling the world and spending quality time with my family. I have traveled extensively, and those experiences have broadened my perspective and enriched my life in ways that go far beyond financial success. This podcast is not just about wealth building. It's about building a lifestyle that reflects who you are and what you want out of life. So whether that is through travel, self-care, or simply making time for things that matter the most, I'm here to help you design the life that you love. The 2 most important days in your life are the day that you're born and the day you find out why. Mark Twain. This podcast has been in the works for 4 years. Back in 2020 is when I bought most of my podcasting equipment. And as you can see, 4 years later, this is episode 1. But I have to tell you, I'm super excited and super proud that I've gotten to this point because it has been a journey for me to get here. The other day, I had to sit down and just reflect over my life and just ask myself, why didn't I get started sooner? And what came back to me was perfection. Winston Churchill says, perfection is the enemy of progress. And I cannot tell you how true that has been for me. But when you have a desire to do something, it haunts you. You keep coming back to it over and over again. You try to run away, it's going to find you because that's something that is in your soul's purpose. That's something that's in your heart. And it's something that you have to get out. And so like the late Dr. Miles Monroe said, and I'm going to paraphrase this, the wealthiest place in the world is the cemetery because there lies the treasure of untapped human potential. I can tell you that no truer words have spoke to my soul over the last 4 years as I was procrastinating and wanting everything to be right. I did not want to go to my grave with everything that I have to offer. God gave me different gifts and talents and different desires and purposes for a reason. And one thing that I always said is I want to be able to share that with the world before I graduate from this earth, like we say. If you're stuck in your resistance, I get it. But I want you to get started. Get started no matter if It's not as perfect or as world-class as you would like it to be. Get started on it anyway. If there was one word that I wanted this podcast to be described as, it's authentic. And there can be no authenticity in perfection. Those are two opposing viewpoints or two opposing ideas. They don't go together like peanut butter and jelly. And so if I had to choose one, it would be authenticity every single time. But you're going to get world-class content though, so definitely stay tuned. My purpose is very simple. It's just sharing information with you that is going to allow you to live a life by design. This is as simple as it gets. And keeping this purpose in mind, I'm going to share some goals that I have for this podcast that I hope to accomplish. Goal number 1 is to educate and inspire you. The objective is to demystify wealth building concepts and make financial literacy accessible. So this podcast will encourage you, the listener, to take control of your financial future, whether you're just starting out or you're looking to enhance your current strategies. And speaking of strategies, goal number 2 is to share practical strategies. I will share actionable insights, tips, and techniques that you could implement into your daily life to build and sustain wealth. This includes discussing my experiences with the infinite banking concept, investing, and other wealth building concepts. Goal number 3 is to promote the entrepreneurial mindset. By sharing my experiences as well as the experiences of others, this podcast will encourage its listeners to explore entrepreneurship as a path to financial independence and personal fulfillment. Goal number 4 is to empower listeners. The primary goal is to empower this audience with the knowledge and confidence that they need to make informed financial decisions, start and grow businesses, and lead a lifestyle that reflects their values and aspirations. Goal number 5 is to build a community. I aim to build a community of like-minded individuals that are committed to learning, growing, and supporting each other on their wealth building journeys. Just supporting each other on their journeys, period. Goal number 6 is to highlight diverse perspectives. This podcast will feature diverse voices and perspectives, especially those that are underrepresented in the traditional financial and entrepreneurial spaces. This will help listeners to see that wealth building is a viable path for everyone, regardless of background or starting point. And lastly, goal number 7 is to encourage personal growth. This podcast will also focus on personal growth and how lifestyle choices like travel and self-care contribute to overall success and happiness. So let me take a moment to highlight what makes the Rich Auntie Podcast unique and makes us stand out from all of the other amazing podcasts out there. The first thing that comes to mind is that we offer a comprehensive approach. So the Rich Auntie Podcast offers a holistic approach that combines wealth building, lifestyle, and entrepreneurship. Because we're not about just creating a life that's financially rich. It's also about creating a life that's rich in experiences, relationships, and personal fulfillment. Number 2, personal experience and expertise. 3, highlighting underrepresented voices, like we spoke about earlier. Lifestyle integration, actionable advice with a personal touch. So listeners will feel like they're getting advice from a trusted friend or mentor rather than some distant expert out there in the world. These unique aspects are what I believe positions the Rich Auntie Podcast as a standout resource for anyone that's looking to build wealth, embrace entrepreneurship, or design a life that they truly want to live. Now let's look at some expectations for the future. In some episodes, we're going to do a deep dive into financial strategies. Some we're going to talk about entrepreneurship and business growth. I'm going to interview experts and inspiring individuals. We're going to talk about travel and lifestyle topics. We're also going to have Q&A and listener interaction. In these segments, I'll get to address your challenges and some of the topics that you're curious about as well. I believe this will help us build our community and make the information more personalized and relevant. We're also going to talk about mindset and motivation. So I'm going to explore topics like goal setting, personal development, and just maintaining a positive outlook in the face of challenges. Because the life that you want to design isn't going to be an overnight process. And if you don't have the mindset and the motivation, you'll not get anything done or you won't make progress in those areas. All right, today we set the foundation for the Rich Auntie Podcast by exploring how wealth building, entrepreneurship, and lifestyle come together to create a rich life. Moving forward, we're going to deep dive into financial strategies that allow you to create financial freedom, growing businesses, and living life on your own terms. If you enjoyed today's episode, be sure to subscribe so you never miss a show. And if you found value in what we discussed today, leave a review. It really helps us get the word out, and I would greatly appreciate it. Follow me on all social media platforms where I share tips, behind-the-scenes content, and updates for upcoming episodes. And if you have not signed up for the Rich Auntie Podcast email list as yet, be sure to do so that you get updates of what's going on in the Rich Auntie community. After this episode, you can check out our next episode on how to create an effective daily routine strategy. This is for people that are looking to be more productive and get more done. Thank you for joining me on this journey. Remember, wealth isn't just about money. It's about living the life you love. I'm your host, Kia Valentine, and I cannot wait to build wealth and live richly together. See you next time on the Rich Auntie Podcast.
Thanks for listening to the Rich Auntie Podcast. If you enjoyed this episode, be sure to subscribe, rate, and leave a review. Follow us on social media for more tips and exclusive content. Until next time, keep shining, keep thriving, and remember, you deserve to live your richest life. Yo.